Good evening, everyone. Hello, how are you? Welcome to tonight's show. Come on in the Just Gina's room. How are you on tonight? Welcome. I am your host, Jeanna Harris. Welcome to this great Monday. In spite of, some people may call it Monday Madness, but I call it Good Monday. Come on in, click, tag, and share on tonight. Click, tag, and share here. Hello. I'm going to take the time and share it myself. We have a awesome guest that's going to be joining us on tonight. So please click, tag, and share on tonight. We have a great topic. If you have been seeing my flyers, we're going to be talking about multiple sclerosis. It is actually Multiple Sclerosis Awareness Month. So we have a guest that is on experiencing that journey and is functioning and living with the health condition of multiple sclerosis. So this is going to be a great show. She has so much to share. And I want to take the time to put up my disclaimer. I want to welcome everyone to the show. If you're tuning in for the first time, my name is Jeanna Harris. I am the host. I am the founder and the presenter of this health and wellness tips and talk show that has been airing every Monday at 9 o'clock. Welcome from all over the world. Welcome. Thank you for tuning in. If you catch the replay, thank you for tuning in. And I do want to put my disclaimer up before I go any further in the show here. So give me a few minutes here. And I just want y'all to take the time to read over this disclaimer. I always say at the beginning of the show, if you hear something or if it's something that's said that you would like to try or implement, please consult with your healthcare provider. Please consult with your therapist. Do not abruptly start or stop any medication treatments, any therapies without consulting with your medical advisor. I am not a doctor. I cannot prescribe. However, I am a nurse and a certified wellness coach with a long history in the healthcare field, strong history in the healthcare field. So what do? I provide services and products in the natural skincare and wellness arena and industry. I have products that are in retail stores and local stores. I formulate products. I educate in the healthcare and wellness arena. So I'm here to present sound information, factual information on health, wellness, health conditions, disease processes, nutrition, mental wellness, also spiritual exercise. So please tune in. Make sure that you get all of this good information that's coming. I'm not going to delay any longer here because this young lady has a lot to share with us on today. And this is Multiple Sclerosis Awareness Month here. This is episode 10. So I am indeed excited about it. So at this time, I'm going to bring on our special guest, and her name is Miss Karen Jones Stockert. So give me a moment as I add her on here. Hello, Karen. How are you?
Hey, Jeanna, how are you?
I'm doing great. Welcome to the show. Thank you for being a guest on tonight. I am excited for all that you have to share with us. Please take the time and introduce yourself and tell the audience and the viewers a little bit about who you are and what you do.
My name is Karen Jones Stockert. Please excuse my speech. I'm dealing with a sinus infection right now. One of the many things we go through with MS. I'm Karen Jones Stockert, and I have my own business that I've started up. It's called Acclimation Consulting. where I can help people to spruce up their websites. If people need for me to help them with college papers or high school papers, they just need somebody to proofread and help them to get things in order. I don't actually host websites, but I do help with making it look nice. And I've been dealing with multiple sclerosis since 2004. And so this is something that the good Lord has brought me through and I'm facing now. It's not easy, but I'm facing it. And I think that's all I have, Rajita, for right now.
Well, that is a lot, and she had it's way more. She's being very modest. And all of my guests that comes on the show here, she's being very modest here. We do want to dive in. I would like for you, Karen, to tell us a little bit about how multiple sclerosis was explained to you. So basically, what is multiple sclerosis?
I might can't get into all of the medical terms like it should be, but I can tell you this, that it is a multitude of white blood cells, that you have so many of them that it begin to attack your muscles and your nerves. And there's some other things in your body that go on at the same time. When you're diagnosed, they can actually, I know for me, I went through having, I had the, what you call it, MRI. I had an MRI and I had a spinal tap. And in the MRI, they could actually see what lesions were on my brain. And they do often, even as I go through, to see how many more lesions are on the brain. They check with me, they check with spinal tap. They could check through the spinal tap fluid to see if you have it. There's some other things, and I'm probably not explaining it medically the way that it should be explained, but it comes in, it attacks your muscles, your nerves, and through the lesions on your brain, whatever portion that lesion is on, it can actually disturb that portion of your body. Because if you think about it, a brain is just like a engine room, and the engine room, if it's attacked in certain ways, that's the part of your body that is going to attack.
Yeah.
So that's some of the things that I could tell you about it.
Okay, okay. All right here. Well, thank you for that, Karen. And really, basically, what you're saying is pretty true here. Multiple sclerosis is basically a chronic disease of the central nervous system, which is what you're basically mentioning here. So, of course, I got a little bit of literature together. I know that you don't have like the big medical background. However, you are living and functioning with this health condition. So your experiences and all of the different things you have to go through on a day-to-day basis and on with your appointments and with the medicines, I know you can really explain it a little more personally. One of the things that I would like to hear from you was, what was the risk factors that you had?
When you say risk factors, what do you mean?
So, what was the risk factors for you that they was able to identify that might have led to you being diagnosed with the health condition, the disease?
I got so I couldn't hardly walk. My legs would go right out from under me, and I didn't understand what was going on. At the time when my legs would go out, it would be like a nerve problem. It would go through my whole body, and it was like a shock, and it would bring me to tears, and I would go down and I couldn't walk. During the time when I first came down with it, I would actually walk along the walls because my balance was so bad, and I would try to hold myself up, and it was terrible. I was actually walking with a cane, and I couldn't go in a store and just walk through a whole store. And then I was like, I'm too young to ride that scooter in the store, so I didn't want to, I didn't want to ride it. But my one of my aunts told me, she came with me one day and said, "You're going to get in this cart and you're going to ride." So that was the way I had to get around. I had to learn how to um, pull myself back up with walking correctly, and it was really tough.
How old were you when you were diagnosed with multiple sclerosis?
It was in 2004, and so let me see here. You trying to get me tell my age? I would say I was probably like 36, 37, something like that.
Okay. I do have a question here. Someone did ask, did you have paralysis with your diagnosis, with you learning that you had multiple sclerosis?
I had where my legs would go out. With me, I have relapsing, remitting multiple sclerosis. So a portion of your body might go out for a moment, but eventually it may come back. It may. So right now, I can walk again, and I don't need a cane, but my walking is very slow. I can't get around as fast as I used to, but it's it. I wouldn't say. Well, I guess you can call that paralysis.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. I do want to add in here that one of the, as I gathered some notes together, and if you can chime in if it's something you may have also learned. It says here, as far as under the risk factors, about 1 million people in the US over the age of 18 live with multiple sclerosis, and 10,000 new cases are diagnosed every year. Is that very familiar sounding to you?
Yes. It seems to be more and more every day. So I'm hoping they'll be able to find out how you actually get it, because they really don't know how a person develops MS. It's not hereditary, they say. So it's hard to determine how you can get it.
Okay, because it does say that the cause of multiple sclerosis is unknown, but it's possible abnormalities in the immune system. Look, we have live bloopers in this show, guys. Okay, um, um, in the immune system, as well as environmental and genetic factors, could contribute to the risk of developing disease, but it has not been proven from what studies are showing here.
Mhm.
I'd like to also talk about what are some other symptoms that you have here.
Some other symptoms that I have is shaking in my hands, my legs going weak and numb, and it might feel like that they're about to go out. Um, Sometimes if you can look at me, I don't know if you guys seen the movie. What is it, More Money, where the guy's sitting there, his head is shaking like this.
Uh-huh.
That actually can happen, because your nerves are being attacked. And I noticed that with my hands, I have to be careful. Sometimes I can't handle things the way I want to. I have to be careful when I pick up hot things, because sometimes my hands will just jump. And I had that happen one time where I actually got burned with dropping some hot yams out of the oven, because my hands jumped. So those type of things happen. I've had at one time where my sight started going out on me, and I had to go to a doctor for that. And of course, they gave me steroids to help to bring everything back, but I wasn't able to see well. So it's like this. You can wake up every morning and you don't know how you're going to wake up. You don't know what's going to be down. Every day is different. The only thing I could tell you that's the same is the pain I experience in my legs. I experience pain almost every day. Um, and
Wow.
some days are worse than others. Some days I just I just kind of ignore it because after a while you get used to it,
Okay.
and I can't take pain meds to, and do what I need to do. So
Okay.
that is some of it.
Okay. So some of the things you are developing here, and it had muscle stiffness, dizziness. I know you have a lot of times where you deal with pain, um, and it's nerve pain mostly and muscle pain, right?
Yes.
Okay. And then also continent impairments. I'm not sure about it has listed, and not saying you, but urinary problems also. And it did mention what you were saying about having to use the cane as a device sometimes, or a wheelchair, which you didn't have to use a wheelchair, but you had to use a cane.
I had to use a cane just to help me to stay steady because my balance, which is still, I still experience that. My balance will go out. And I know sometimes I might go in a store or whatever, and somebody might look at me and say, "Is she drinking?" No, I'm not drinking. It's just that my balance is not good.
Okay, here. Yeah. Awesome. This is great information. And if those are coming on, we have a special guest on the show tonight. Welcome to Just Jeanna's Skincare, Health, and Wellness Tips and Talk show here. We have a special guest, Karen Stockert, that is an actual person living and functioning with multiple sclerosis. So she's here sharing her journey of how she is dealing with it on day to day and still able to function very well. It also says here under symptoms and diagnosis that a small percentage, and it says about 15% of people do not experience any periods of remission, but rather more slow and steady progression of the disease from the onset. But it's a small percentage from what studies are showing here.
Mhm.
But you have both remission and
And
relapse.
I've had remission from, like I said, from the walk, and I'm able to walk further now because when it first started, my legs would go out. It would feel like a ton of bricks under me, and you couldn't walk. I couldn't walk with my legs. They were just really weak. So it was really tough, let me tell you. And sometimes now I still feel weakness in my legs, so I have to be careful not to overdo it.
Uh-huh.
Learn how to pace myself. And me being the busy person that I used to be,
Uh-huh.
this was a problem for me. And I was like, okay, now I can't go and do like I want to do, but you get used to it after a while.
Now, tell me a little bit about what type of treatments you are using and what you found was failure and what you found was successful.
Um, I started out with Avonex interferon. The
Mhm.
interferon, I think, is 1B. I think that's what it's called, interferon. I take injections once a week, and I've stayed on that. There have been some other um, medication that has come out, but I'm like this: if it's not broke, don't try to fix it.
Right.
Um, and
Absolutely.
one of the things that they've come out with the pills that you can actually take. And so many of them you have to take in a day. And I'm thinking I already take enough pills.
Yeah.
And then they've come out with the you probably heard it on TV, the Ocrevus,
I
where
think
you
I've
go
heard
in
of
the,
that.
yeah, that's where you go into a medical facility and you get it an IV put in and they administer it that way, and you only have to get it every 6 months. But I read up on some results from others. They were saying that they were having more problems with their legs. And I don't know if it's because it's a longer time between doses, or
Uh-huh.
I don't know why. But I've just decided to stick with, I've been with Avonex since 2004. That's what I've been with. I've stuck with it.
Okay. Okay, here. And what have you now? Have there been any type of side effects or anything? What is typically a day for you when you have to take that shot? If you could explain to the viewers, I kind of know a little bit, but if you can explain to the viewers the process of when you take the weekly shots leading up to getting it and afterward.
Um, right now, I've been experiencing something a little bit different. Like I say, you never know what's going to change on you, but I usually take my injections on a Saturday, and
Hmm.
usually on a Friday, I start having migraine headaches,
Yes.
and I've been given medicine for that. Um, and then afterwards, so that's what I experienced before. And then afterwards, you have like flu-like symptoms.
Okay.
That's the day after you're down. It's hard getting around. You have to take something for the pain. So it's more like flu-like symptoms. It's every day it changes. Every day is different. Now I've noticed the migraine headaches that I get from time to time before and after.
Okay.
But the second day after that, I come around and I'm okay.
That okay. Okay. So right now you just take that weekly injection for,
Yeah.
and that has been giving you great results. Tell me, when was the last time you had a relapse or a major setback maybe with multiple sclerosis?
Probably like it's probably been about 7, 8 months ago. And
Okay.
that was because I was dealing with stress, a
Mm.
lot of stress, like at work, basically. And it kind of took me down. So I have to learn how to not over things as much, which is kind of hard, because, we suffer with depression a lot. We have emotionally, you're constantly going through things. So I I try not to let things stress me out as much. I know my neurologist, Dr. Goldberg, says don't let it stress you. You can't be stressed out. You can't do that. So I do have to take antidepressants for that, and also for the side effects of Avonex is also depression. So I have to take something for that also.
So it helps the weekly injection, the weekly shot that you take that gives you keeps you kind of from having relapses or going into remission, basically. But one of the side effects, it enhances enhances triggers for depression for you.
Yeah, it does. It does. And then MS itself,
Yeah.
you can have that going on because it's in the brain. So there are times when I have woke up and my body is in pain and I'm in depression at the same time. And it's no reason for me to be in depression, but it's just that I'm feeling really down and feeling like I can't go on, and that's the time when I have to bring my spiritual life into check and know that I have to pray or whatever, and know that God will be there with me, because it gets to the point it can get a little overbearing.
Okay. Now, not only do you work, you still work,
Yes.
you're still currently working,
Mm.
and you were very modest in introducing yourself because you are an evangelist at your church, where you are one of the musicians at your church, and you're a local recording artist as well. So you sing out with are you still with the gospel group? Do you still go out? Or y'all are not singing as much now because of?
We haven't sang together in over a year because of the pandemic.
Yes.
But we're still together. We still talk and everything. We're waiting for everything to be over with, and then we'll be back together.
So
Um,
how was it? Because before the pandemic, a typical day and a week for you was a pretty, for someone with multiple sclerosis and with how your body, how you deal with your body and aches. It was a, you still function in a typical full day, because you'll go to work. Tell us about a typical day before the pandemic, what all you was doing right now with functioning with multiple sclerosis and how you handle it.
A typical day was, of course, like you said, going to work and had to fight yourself to get up to go to work, of course. And uh, once you get off of work, for our church, we have services on Tuesdays and Thursdays, going to church. And then if my group sang, it could be on a Saturday or a Sunday, that we would go, sometimes both Saturday and Sunday. And then sometimes that varied depending on what appointments we would get. I cut back on some of the appointments that I used to have a long time ago because I got married. So I knew I had to cut back some things. I couldn't be as busy as I was, but it can be pretty tough sometimes.
Okay. Okay. Also here, tell me a little bit about your diet, as far as nutrition. What foods are work good for you? What foods you found you cannot have? I know you're really sensitive to a lot of stuff. You have a lot of allergies.
I have a lot of food allergies, things I had no idea that I had allergies to. I went and had allergy testing, and of course, of all types of dust. Um, I'm allergic to certain foods and mint of all things. I love mint. I can't have a peppermint patty. Now that's a problem. And I love peppermint patties. So I can't have anything mint. So I use like cinnamon products, and sometimes I'll get like the children's products because you can get bubble gum and the different flavors like that if I can't find a cinnamon product. Um, some of the I'm trying to think of some other things that my diet, I'm gonna be honest, whatever I'm not allergic to, I eat it. And I have to be careful because I have a sugar. I love sugar. Okay, so I've been trying to cut back from the sugar and eating so much sugar.
Mhm.
And so I had to learn about that. But one of the things that I have learned with pain, avocado and salmon, they're very good anti-inflammatory
Yeah.
foods. If you eat it, it will take down the pain. It helps. It does help. I will admit to that. And there's some other oil I think that I was telling you about, turmeric.
Yeah.
Turmeric is very good. You can put that like in your lotion or in some type of cream, and you can put it. For me, I put it on my legs because that's what hurt the most, and it helps.
I know. I remember when I had to create the salve for you, and I was like, God, leave half of my base products you was allergic to. So
So,
I had to really, if anyone want to know what took my level of customizing orders to the next notch, it was all due to this beautiful queen here. She really caused me to step my game up on me being who I was and saying that I customize orders, because I really had to take it to another level with her products that I had to create for her, because putting the wrong thing in her products could have caused her to relapse. So it was very important that I had to really customize down to the T when I created that product for her. And that was one that not only creating, but that's one I had to make sure I was hearing fine-tuned from God as I was making her sound.
so
So,
all I can say is thank you because it did work. It
so I do know that she has a real severe allergy to mint. Um, and I was looking here. I'm reading some of the comments, and thank you, Pastor Robinson. Yes, ma'am. She's another one I have to I have to customize a lot of stuff, customize products and food. I love it. I love it. I don't mind because I just love being able to provide that type of service. And I just love that people um, enjoy what I do and it helps. Some of the things that I did find that I was looking up as I was gathering together for tonight, some herbs and some oils that I found that was helpful for MS and that studies were showing, because it was a whole list, but it wasn't proven. The research was evident enough for me to even mention it on the show. Because I tell people, when you're watching my show, I don't get up here and talk about anything because I have a license to protect. So I make sure that I provide factual, but even if it's factual, if the evidence is not saying there's not enough evidence proven that this particular oil or product is helpful, it's a disservice for me to mention it on the show. To me, that's just way my mindset think as I'm in the nurse mode. But some of the things that I found that they're saying are appear to be significant for MS is one of the ones I call the Bible oil, and that's myrrh. They say that that oil is helpful for people that have multiple sclerosis. And I don't know if you try ginger. I know you will suffer with nausea a lot. So one of the roots,
ginger is a big help.
Yes,
it's a big help.
They say ginger helps with stomach problems, nausea, joint and muscle pain, and it aids in relieving diarrhea symptoms. So that's one of the things. And I know for myself, I suffer a lot with having being nauseated sometimes. So I know it helps, not hurt, but it helps here.
Because I also, Regina, suffer with IBS. So
yeah, that's right.
All of that ginger is very good with helping your stomach, to calm your stomach down. Because it's like your stomach could be all over the place. So a lot of the things that I used to like to eat, I can't eat anymore. Like cabbage, I love cabbage. Broccoli, no cauliflower, no lettuce, none of. I don't bother with it. I could eat it, but I'd be gassed up for a couple of days, and I don't want to experience that.
So you have multiple sclerosis, and then you suffer with IBS. Now, was the IBS something that came after the multiple sclerosis diagnosis?
Yes, it did.
Okay.
I'm not sure if it. I do know we do suffer. It's so many different things that come with MS. I'm not sure if it's in collaboration together or not. I really don't know, but it's one of the things that came afterwards.
So, what other health conditions have you found yourself dealing with from having the multiple sclerosis? Is it anything like you have, like blood pressure issues, diabetes? Is it any of that you have going on?
I do. I have blood pressure problems, but my blood pressure never gets really high. So it's controlled. And diabetes, it doesn't really, it'll go up high sometime if I decide I want to go on a sugar binge. Like I say, I love sugar. But I take medicine for that, take pills for that. Don't take anything like insulin or anything. But that was something that I experienced before before I was diagnosed with MS.
Okay, with diabetes.
Diabetes and high blood pressure.
Okay. One of the things here they also mentioned that is helpful is magnesium. Have you tried that, or have you found, was that mentioned to you by your healthcare provider? And this was just showing research studies was mentioned magnesium as one of the ones here Benef- Yeah, it says it beneficial in preventing deficiencies that could aggravate symptoms of MS.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and it's
I have
something
to look into that.
that's
Yeah.
something that I was researching and I was seeing here. Of course, that's something you definitely got to talk with your provider about. And again, if people just tuning in, oh, question was asked in the ones that are viewing in. They say, "Is the pain only in your legs?"
So I have had where my whole body have hurt. My arms. I have woke up one morning and everything was hurting.
Okay.
Everything was hurting, but it's mostly my legs.
Mostly your legs. Okay.
Mhm.
Okay, so mainly your legs here. And you had mentioned at first about you have to follow up frequently about lesions being on your brain.
With that, my doctor doesn't send me as much as he used to. Um, I used to go in yearly to have an MRI so that they can view. But as long as your symptoms, if they don't change as much,
Uh-huh.
your doctor won't send you in for an MRI as much.
Oh, okay, okay. So,
Because that, if I come back in and I say something like, I can't see out of my left eye and something is going wrong here, then he may want to do an MRI so he can see if there's more lesions on my brain.
okay.
Mhm.
And one of the things I noticed, and you guys, I've known Karen for some years. I met her actually through singing. She was one of the ones that actually coached me, and when I way back when with my music and everything. And one of the things that I did remember that you frequently would get ear infections. It's
Yes. And
something that
that's and right now, as you can hear, I have a sinus infection right now, and I've been put on a couple days of rest. You because our immune system is so low, when you take that interferon, it cuts your immune system down. And so anybody that you're around that's sick, you can have a whole group of people that's around somebody that's sick, and they won't get sick, but you will because your immune system is not good. That was one of my concerns with the vaccine that's coming out. The vaccine for the pandemic is supposed to build up your immune system, and I'm like, okay, I'm taking this interferon, which is tearing down it's getting rid of white blood cells. Somewhere there's going to be a problem.
Mhm.
So you end up getting sick a lot. I mean, I get sinus infections a lot because I have uh, allergies, bad allergies, and
Mhm.
so I do experience that a lot.
Okay. I tell you, this is good. I don't know about y'all that are tuning in, but this is a lot of great information. And for those that do not know, this is Multiple Sclerosis Awareness Month, as well as along with all of the other list of things that we are being made awareness of in this month. But multiple sclerosis is one of the recognized health conditions that's being made awareness for in the month of March. So it was definitely an honor to have you on the show here. Also, what would you say to someone that may be experiencing it or someone that may know a family member, a loved one, a friend that may have multiple sclerosis? What would you say to them? Being someone that has had it for a long time and you're able to function well, I mean, you do a lot because I mean, it's been times she was in the delivery room when I had Naya. With all, with all she had going on, she was in the delivery room when I had Naya, and because she's Renaya's godmother, and I just admire her strength because a lot of people, I took care of patients with multiple sclerosis, and most of my patients when I was working in the nursing home, they were bedridden. A lot of them were bedridden. A lot of them weren't walking. So The people that are able to function and really with the schedule you have, things have slowed down because of the pandemic. But looking at your schedule, how you was able to function very well. I just think it's pretty amazing how you're still functioning and moving and moving and shaking and doing everything, highly involved in your church, highly involved in still singing. And then you have your business and you have a high demand job because you work for the government.
Yeah.
um, um, so I just admire it. So what type of encouragement that would you give to them that are, and also touch a little bit on mental wellness, some of the things that work for you that you have found successful, if you feel yourself spiraling, because now you are able to identify triggers or when you may be spiraling. So touch a little bit on that, because that's one of the big things as well. A lot of people right now in this season is dealing with a lot of mental triggers and stuff. So how do you deal with that and have been able to deal with it for so long, and rise above everything that really most people would not be able to handle?
Jeanna, I got to tell you, a lot of it is prayer. A lot of it is God getting me through, because if he didn't, sometimes I don't know how I would go get through. But there have been times when I wake up and I'm just like, Lord, just let me go, because I'm tired of the pain. I'm tired of dealing with this. But you got to realize you got to pick up yourself and go on, because God's got you here for a reason and for a purpose.
That's right.
If he didn't want you here, you wouldn't be here with the pain. So you got to go on through it. You got to pray through it and know that God's going to take you through. One of the things I noticed, like with depression, sometimes it's good to put some songs on that actually help to motivate you and bring your spirit up. Reading the Bible, that helps. And another thing that I found that's really helpful, and I got this out of some of the MS sites, is doing word games. That helps with, because I have problems with memories really bad sometimes.
Okay.
There's memory problems in it also. It's like I can be sitting there working on something, all of a sudden everything is, I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. Okay. And the hardest part of that, Rajita, is when you're preaching and you're hoping and you're praying, God, please let me remember what the next sentence is. Don't let me forget,
My God.
so, because it can happen, um, and notes are very good during that time, because you can keep up your points, what you need to do. But I have had times where I didn't have notes, and I had to really rely on God to help me out with that. And he will. But working with word memory games, it helps to keep you a little sharper than what you could have been. So my husband and I play a lot of Scrabble together. And for those of you who have somebody, a spouse or just somebody, a loved one that it helps to be there for them. Don't give them that, because some days it's going to look like, oh, they must be putting on. And nobody have that much pain. Yes, they do have that much pain. Let me tell you, they do. And I thank God for my husband being here for me. And when I need him, when I'm going through things, he'll come and tell me it's going to be okay. So just going to that person and saying it's going to be all right, you're going to get through this, it helps out a lot, because we go through a lot of depression times and wondering, why do we have to be like this? Why is it all of a sudden I can't do? Because Ranjini, you knew all of the stuff I used to do. I had to cut down. I had to cut down on it and back up off of a lot of things. So
yes, I'm telling you, I am truly amazed, because when I found out you had MS, because let me tell y'all something, y'all that are viewing, when she done concerts, she had full routines, dance movements, and everything with her songs. And I'm like, then I'm like, she go home take a shot. I said she got multiple sclerosis. I said my God. But it was like the Lord just carried her through those concerts when we would go and perform and stuff. And I was like, she is really moving, and I mean not off balance, off key or nothing, but she really would be in a lot of pain when the concert was over. It was time for her to go. She was ready to get up out of there. I done done what I need to do, Lord. It's time for me to go. So I just admired that. And one of the other things, what were exercises that was helpful to you? I know one of them, but I want you to tell them something that you would do that was helpful for your muscles.
Stretching is a big thing. I have when I went to do every now and then, it's good to also go do physical therapy and let them work with you with stretching, and they'll do some things with heat and different things that they'll do to help you out. And then they'll give you one of those what do you call them, stretch bands? I think that's what you call it. You can put it around your legs, and you can use it with your arms. All types of stretches are good. Because when you get multiple sclerosis, one of the things that you're not supposed to do is get overheated. So you can't go like before I got into before I got multiple sclerosis, I would go do. I was doing step aerobics. I was doing the Billy Blank stuff, and I was doing all of that. I had even gotten into running, but then as MS set in, I was not able to do that. I'm not able to work out like that now. So, but stretching is very, very good, and it's very important.
Okay.
Help keep you loose, so that your muscles don't tighten up on you.
And what about I remember one time, I don't know if you still was able to do this, but was water aerobics helpful for you?
It is helpful, water aerobics, but another thing with MS, you got to make sure it's the right temperature.
Sure. Or the
Because
water.
if it's too cold, you can have an onset, and if it's too hot, you can have an onset. Like here in the Tidewater area, or like in Chesapeake and in Portsmouth, the one who has the pool that you can actually get in is it's a YMCA off of High Street. They have a pool there, and it's a section that's the temperature is set just for people like myself. Okay. So I was there for physical therapy, and the water is just right. So you have to be careful with that.
Okay. All right. Well, I tell you, this has been great information. I truly thank you for taking the time to share your story. I am just glad of how you're able to progress and able to function day to day. I thank God for your purpose and your dedication and your consistency and your push in all that you experienced throughout the years, and even how you also pull with others, and even at this time you still care and look out for others. So I'm very grateful of how you're surviving this experience that you're having and this journey with this. Again, viewers, if you're just coming on, you might want to go back and watch it from the beginning. A great show, a great information here, and also follow Karen on her social media platforms. She has a business and consultant. She's an IT specialist, has been doing it for the military for years, and has a long history in it. So she also assists with songwriting. She is a local artist, gospel artist in the area. She has many talents. So please look her up and follow her on her different platforms that she has. But I thank you all for tuning in. I thank you, Karen, for coming
Thank
on
you,
the
Jeanna.
show here and sharing your journey and being transparent. I love that. That is one of the things that I'm definitely believing can be most helpful to others is we living in our truth and being transparent, because it might help someone to really have hope and be free in the freeness that God wanted to have. So thank you guys for tuning in. Please know that next Monday will be the last time I will be airing my show live on Mondays. Starting in April, I will be transitioning over to Roku TV and Amazon Fire TV. So make sure you download Big Mind Entertainment on your Roku channel and on your Amazon Fire, so you can catch my shows there. And again, I just thank everyone for tuning in. If you have any questions, if you have any inquiries, please reach out to me at justjeannaskincare@gmail.com. Karen, how can they find you? How can they contact you for services?
For services, you can email me at Acclamation Consulting. Acclamation is spelled ACCLAIMAITO. I'm sorry, A. Let me get my. I do know how to spell. Okay, Acclamation Acclamation Consulting. ACCLAIMATION and consulting at gmail.com.
Yes.
Or you can hit me up on Facebook. I'm there, Karen Jones Stockert. Or I also have my own music page there, and it's under Karen Jones.
All right, you guys, there you have it. She's also helped with tutoring services. She does that as well. So if you need any type of tutoring services, she's available for that. I'm not sure. And what's your area of specialties for that as well?
For tutoring, it used to be math. I've kind of slid back from that some. You said I need to stop sliding from stuff, right? I'm getting older. What can I say? And sometimes the math that they use nowadays is so different. This stuff is different in the school system.
Yeah. Yes.
It's different than what it was when I was coming along, Ron Jeanna. I'm getting up there now.
Oh my
but I help with what I can.
Okay. Well, I thank you again for coming on the show, and I thank everybody for tuning in.
And thanks for having me.
Oh, it's a pleasure. It's a pleasure to have you on. Thank you again for sharing your story. And you guys, we're going to go ahead and close out tonight's episode. And I will see you guys next week for the finale of Aaron Live. And after that, you might want to go ahead and make sure you got Big Mind Entertainment on your big screen, because that's where I'll be after this. So after next Monday. So I will talk to you guys soon. Have a great evening and be blessed in the Lord.